Bengal Miniatures unboxing of Warhammer Quest Cursed City. So this is the newest Warhammer Quest, following from Blackstone Fortress for 40k. We had Silver Tower and Hammer Hall before this for Age of Sigmar. So now we're coming back to Age of Sigmar here with the new Vampire Undead themed version. So it's a little bit thinner than I expected actually, which is, you know, not a bad thing, taking up less space and storage. Because one thing with these Warhammer Quest games is you will end up keeping this box most likely, not to store your models, but so much all of the cards, tokens, and dungeon tiles. So having something that's on the thinner side is better. So you can see here it lists everything on the back. Let's crack it open and get right into it. So once you open it up, you can see all the sprues that you get with it, conveniently color-coded. Over here on the right, in the gray, we have the undead. So this first sprue gives the heroes, 2 sprues of the minions, I guess you would call them, and then 1 sprue individually of the main vampire guy. Now in a off-white plastic, we have the heroes. I'm kind of surprised they fit all these onto such small sprues, but we'll take a look at these here again in a minute. So once you clear out the sprues, we have a divider. No fancy artwork on it, but fits the mood. So when you take the divider out, now we got all the paper products underneath. So right here looks like all of the different books and such. Got an ad for the novel and an errata for instructions. So either this guy's instructions that are included are wrong or they forgot to include them. So we'll see that later. Here we have, looks like all the different cards, character cards, Radikar, the wolf. Bases, some more bases, and a Ziploc bag, and these ones are in a sealed one. It's interesting. Wonder if these are the heroes, and these are all the undead minions. The dice, take a look at these more later. Another base, larger one. Here we have all the dungeon tiles and some of the tokens. So we'll take a look at those later. And lastly, we have a bunch of Ziploc bags. So this is, I'm glad to see this. If you saw my review of or read my review of the last Underworlds, I was a little disappointed that it did not come with Ziploc bags, which seems like such a small thing. But when you have as many tokens and you know, cards as you get in games like this, and the fact that you're going to be storing it in this box, having all these Ziploc bags to keep everything secure and together, it's, you know, it's very useful. All right, now we'll take a look at everything individually. All right, starting with the sprues, I'm going to start with the bad guys because I like the undead the best. So the first sprue here is most of the heroes and unique units. So you can see the larger guy here. Here's the undead, the zombie ogres, the gravekeeper, the warden. So this is all of the more unique models and characters in the game. And then, like I said earlier, individual sprue for Radikar, the wolf. He is a bit larger than I expected, so he's not really an ogre sized, but he's definitely larger than a typical human, which is cool to see. And then the meat and potatoes of the undead, all the minions. These are 2 of the same sprue, identical. So let's take a look at one of them here. So this is all your zombies, skeletons, bat swarms, rat swarms, and some objective markers. So you can see here, here's a skeleton. They look to be mostly two-part, same with the zombies. So skeleton back, skeleton front right there. And then, you know, the zombies, we got, here's the lower half, here's the upper half. So we'll look at the instructions to see if that's how they go together. But it seems pretty straightforward, which is nice, especially for something like this. And now that we've seen that while the design of the zombies and skeletons for Age of Sigmar that are coming out are the same design, they're in fact different models, so we'll hopefully have more pose options and weapon options there. I'm also kind of happy to see, I like this hunched over zombie with the grave on its back, but it's nice to see that they're not all like that for the regular Age of Sigmar one. I'm fine with them all being like that for this, because, you know, it's for a board game, you only get so many. You're not going to have 60 of them on the table at a time, just, you know, a handful. Now we'll look at the heroes and adventurers for it. So this is split up into 2 sprues. Like I said, I'm surprised at how compact they are, and also kind of how they're boxed. Looking back on Silver Tower, for example, the heroes all were on their own individual sprue. So, you know, it was a small sprue, kind of like the same size as Radiker. And some of them were attached together, but they could be broken apart, so they could be sold separately later, which they were. Next, we have the books that I have just unpackaged here. So the first one up is the Rulebook. So we got a nice gallery of all the models that come in it. Tutorials, and it looks like it goes right into the rules. I don't want to spoil any of this for myself, but I haven't played the Blackstone Fortress, and I didn't play the Hammer Hall one, but I played Silver Tower, and I really enjoyed Silver Tower, so this uses some of the same mechanics. Really interested to see how they expanded upon it. It's obviously a heftier rulebook than Silver Tower. There's more to it. I know some of the stuff they previewed online, like the Night and Day tracker, has a Majora's Mask feel to me, which I'm really excited about. Excited to give this a shot. I guess there's also solo play, so excited to play some of that here, maybe this weekend, this next week, and then, you know, once COVID gets a little bit better, play with some friends. All right, next we have the Quest book. So it looks like, starts off with the lore. I'm really excited to read. Shows you where it's located. It's on an island south of Gothazar. Some background on all the characters. And background on the heroes. I'm excited to read this. Then it looks like it goes into journeys. So this is, I'm assuming, the individual ways you can play the game. All right. Next we have the envelope. Do not open until the final assault decapitation journey has been completed. So I'm assuming this is at the end of the game. You open this up and see it has something special in there. It's very sturdy. This is a solid piece of card, or cards, several, can't really tell, in here. I know Blackstone Fortress had something similar. Excited to see what's in here. Speaking of Blackstone Fortress, I'm also really excited to see what they do for Cursed City as far as expansions, all the expansions that Blackstone Fortress had, with bringing back unique models that 40K hadn't seen in a long time. Considering this is undead themed, and I love my undead stuff, I'm really interested to see what unique stuff they're bringing back in, what kind of cool models we can get. Alright, the Warscrolls. So this is to use the models in Age of Sigmar. So we got ones for all the heroes. Oh, nice divider piece of art. I'm assuming the villains are after this. Yep. So here's the villains. I'm not going to go through all of them. The pitch battle profiles. So each of the heroes here, individually pointed, skeletons and zombies, and then all of the other unique stuff from the undead side has to be taken as a group. So I'm assuming, let's look at some of the heroes here for their keywords. So Cities of Sigmar on the humans. They're all Cities of Sigmar. This guy's Caradron Overlords. So you can actually take him in your KO. Sylvaneth. So Cities of Sigmar, Sylvaneth. The Ogre was Ogre. I don't know if that means it can be taken in the Ma tribes, not familiar with their keywords. Lastly, we have the instruction booklet. So it shows you how to put them together. So I'm curious. Base guide. Love that they're doing this now. It doesn't look like this one has 28 mils in here, but especially with 25, 28, and 32, it can be pretty hard to discern by just, you know, eyeballing it what which base size is which. So I'm curious to see if the Caradron is in here and they just printed them wrong or they forgot them. So he's in here, so there must be something different. So let's look. Alright, so the front and the back go together, and this one's having you do the beard at the same time and then put the arms on. So that looks like the only difference. I don't know. Yeah, let's look at the zombies and skeletons to see if they are just 2 pieces. So the rat swarms are 3 pieces. The skeletons, yep, 2 pieces. The zombies, 2 pieces. So let's say the only skeleton that is more than 2 pieces is the banner. And the bat swarms, a couple of pieces. Alright, next we move on to the cards. So, yeah, the big stack here look like maybe add-ons you can give your heroes. Encounter cards. I wonder if they have a different. Nope, it's encounter cards. So presumably these tell you it's dependent, possibly dependent upon the level of your hero, and what you end up facing. It's interesting. So again, I haven't read the rules yet. I'm really hoping this is like Silver Tower. So we got the dungeon tiles here. In Silver Tower, what you would do is you shuffle these up, you have your starting tile, you put these down, and then when you open a new room, you draw a card, and this is the next tile you place. So then right here, it's probably telling you what, if you're gonna draw a encounter card, so that's random too. It's very interesting. I like that. So I really hope that's how it plays. Again, I haven't played it yet. Could be completely wrong in the last set. Not sure. These are. Alright, these little cards. Again, not sure what they're for, but very interesting. Some discovery cards. So presumably when you search a room, you either get treasure, trap, crisis. Resolve 1 crisis from your journey book. So I saw they previewed that online. It's interesting the way those work. Trait cards. Presumably upgrades for your heroes. We've got different words on them, like Lore Master, Executioner. Alright, these larger cards, it's blank on the back. Presumably some kind of tracker. And then the cards for the heroes. So I know, yeah, there was a kind of inspired thing like in Underworlds. So yeah, this looks similar to Silver Tower, how you track it. The bad guys. Tells you what type of dice to use. Look at those next. So each one, these guys attack with the triangles, these guys attack with the white squares, 2 white squares, the bats get 1 white square, they get the red dice. So I really like that mechanic. I've seen it in other games. You know, switching up what kind of dice you use is always fun. Having different dice that are different sizes, different shapes, that have different chances of hitting. This it's tangible and it feels fun. So let's take a look at those next. Alright, so next we have the dice. We got some normal 6-side dice, white and black. Yeah, that's pretty good to roll. Alright, then we got the unique dice, 12-sided die. And then here are the ones that the cards were showing. So the zombies, we used these ones. You see some sides are blank. I think if I saw online, it was miss, hit, and crit. And the last thing to check out are the cardboard. So this is mostly dungeon tiles. So we got some other tracker things up here, a token fitting what they can in. Looks like a throne room there. All double-sided. They just punch out. Nice and sturdy. Feels the same as the Silver Tower ones. Let's take a look at some of the rest of them in here. More dungeons, more trackers. The artwork on these are fantastic. Here we go. Here's some real undead ones. Bone pits. Coffins. Alright, and this last one is all the tracking stuff. So even more tokens. Probably some wound tokens, I'm assuming. Some type of measurement tool down here. This is the night and the day tracker, which, like I was saying, I think is really cool. And again, these all just punch out. So, really high quality. Loving the look of all this. Alright, and that's the contents of Warhammer Quest Cursed City. So, a lot in there, a lot of models, a lot of cards and tokens. Looks like you get a lot in here. Again, I'm really excited to play it. I'm really excited to see where this game goes. Look for my written review of this later this week. I may or may not have time to play a game of it beforehand. I want to try and get some of the models painted as well, and I'll do some tutorials for those models. So look for that on Mental Miniatures and on my Twitter and Instagram and all that. So excited to see what everyone does with this, and excited to get into the Cursed City myself.